Okay, so thank you guys for joining and for being a part of this series so far. So far we've done like I think we kicked off in the month of, was it April or May? I can't remember, but I think about a month ago we celebrated 6 months. So I think we have about 7 months so far. So I want to say thank you so much for being with me, for always taking out your time out of your busy schedule to come sit with me in the box, share your knowledge, and listen to me yap as much as I want to. Thank you so much, Miss Fire Red. So I want to say a very big thank you to you all. And today I decided I will be talking about separation and divorce amongst many other topics lined up. But I said let's just quickly dissect this one. Let's talk a bit about it. Let me share this topic with you and get to hear from you guys what your opinions and probably experiences are on this particular subject matter. So I've had a lot of points lined up. I jotted a lot of points on my notes here, so I'm going to read it. We'll be talking about separation and divorce in marriages. We'll discuss the grounds for separation and divorce, how separation affects the family, most especially the children. We'll also talk about how to avoid divorce and separation. So, this topic is really very, it's going to be an interesting topic so far from what I have gathered around. And is a topic of particular concern, most especially coming from a country of particular concern. Yes, so how to avoid separation, oh, may God help us, and divorce probably, because obviously most separations lead to divorce finally, because before divorce happens, you have some level of detachment and separation, and then before you know it, the ground break breaking down, as the case may be, which is divorce. So I want us to discuss about it. We'll first of all find out why some people decide to separate or divorce. We all know what separation is, right? So I will just kind of give a slight over the edge definition about the term separation. We know separation in literal sense is to divide or to put aside one thing from the other, or to make a pathway between two lines, or making a unit amongst, creating an hedge or a boundary, so to say. So, but separation in the literal sense of marriage is when both parties sometimes they consent into deciding to be away from each other for a specific period of time, probably to go over whatever situations they might probably be struggling with at the time, and to see how well and how best they can come up to combat that, and maybe come back better. And most times they don't come back because it eventually leads to divorce. And we know what divorce means. Divorce is the final ending as a result of court order. People go through divorce via legal means. So when the court has ordered the end of a marriage as a result of irreconcilable differences, as they used to say, that's what leads to divorce, where both parties decide that, oh, this marriage or this union is no longer befitting for both of us, or is no longer convenient. We can no longer continue due to one struggle or the other, and they decide to go the legal route by coming or putting an end to the union, actually. So we already know and understand what these two terms mean. So I will just go right into define, I've defined that already, right? So I'll just go right into state some of the grounds or reasons why most people divorce, most especially here in Nigeria. I'm using Nigeria as an example because most of us are from this part of the world. So one of the grounds for divorce in Nigeria are adultery. Adultery is one of the major grounds why a lot of union is broken or ended. We have toxicity, that's physical abuse or drunkenness or addiction. Sometimes it could be emotional abuse also. We have desertion. We know what desertion is, like when one of the party decides to go MIA, like you're missing in the action, you're not in the life of the family or the other spouse. You decide to go away for a period of time. It could be for maybe 1 or 2, 3 years, without the consent of the other party. So this is one of the grounds for divorce and separation in most Nigerian homes. We also have living apart for 2 to 3 years without the consent of the other partner, obviously. So when one party decides, maybe sometimes some people, they go or they pretend to go on the grounds of work. They lie that, oh, my job has moved me out of town to this other part, but it's just one way or the other for them to be away from the partner and the family. We have seen cases where some persons actually ask for transfers from their primary state of residence to a further location because they are trying to be away from their current partner and family at the time. They are trying to be away from taking responsibilities of the family and all of that. And so we've seen cases like that, and they don't want to mention to the partner that they are no longer interested in the relationship, or they are becoming worn out and trying to avoid or run away from the relationship. So they just come on the grounds of, oh, it's work. My work has moved me to a very far end, and because of that, I can't be with you and the family in this location at that time. So, and they end up staying there for years away from the family. So this kind of situation can also lead to a separation or ground for divorce as well. So we have failure to consummate the marriage. We all know what that means, right? If I'm not mistaken, like most couples, some people marry for convenience. When we say marriage for convenience, some people marry knowing that they have some underlying illnesses that cannot enable them perform their marital rights. Do you get? When I mean consummate the marriage, we know what it means, both parties coming together to have sexual intercourse in the marriage. So we've seen people who, because of societal pressure or because of shame, they are trying to cover up one lapses or one thing that they find as shame and shouldn't be heard of or considered of them. They pretend to get married. We've seen people who are still in the closet, like gay couples. Some people who are into lesbianism and gay, because they don't want the family members or friends and relatives to know that they are actually interested in same gender as they. So they tend to cover up by marrying. So they go ahead to marry someone, and when they are in the marriage, they don't have interest in wanting to consummate that marriage because ordinarily they are not interested in the opposite gender. They only got married for convenience. They got married for convenient purpose, just to cover up their practice and feel like normal people among the society because of what the society has termed normal and what they feel is normal but are not interested in. So these are the grants, and we also have poor communication. We know that most marriages now, they suffer poor communication a lot. When we hear communication, most times we think it just has to do with job, because in most job interviews, for their requirements, they will come to you and they'll be like, or they will state it in their requirement that you must have good communication skills. And most of us, we had limited this, thinking that is only limited to job applicants or those who are already working. But good communication is the bedrock of every relationship. Good communication, I always hammer on it. Once one is able to communicate their feelings, once you are able to air your views, once you are able to express yourself freely, willingly, without any fear of being judged or being castigated for your own views or for airing your opinion, you are good to go. It's good to know how to communicate, and sometimes we have to learn how to communicate well, because it's a different thing to say you communicate, and is another way to communicate in a good way. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. I'm trying to get the comments, like when your wife, sorry, I'm going to visit my sister or family. You got points, being okay. Okay, I'm trying to get the comments, but I really can't follow. Maybe I'll follow afterwards, probably during questions. So we have poor communication as one of the grounds or reasons for separation and divorces in most marriages. We also have inability to resolve conflicts when there's certain issues and you don't have the knowledge, the wisdom as to how to manage such conflict at the time. This can actually lead to separation and eventually maybe divorce. We have destructive habits also. These destructive habits, we have situations where some people are in a toxic relationship, that maybe when one partner feels that the other partner has offended them or has done something that they ought not to do, they resolve into destruction to express their anger, to express their emotions or express themselves. That's their way of communicating, by being destructive. Destruction sometimes might not be limited to you just scattering things, properties in the house. I've seen in a movie recently that I watched, the lady, and this is in an American movie, this is an American setting, so I was even like, oh, so this happens also in the Western world, not just limited to our particular country of concern alone. So the husband had it wasn't even the husband that cheated, it's the wife that cheated with the father-in-law. And the husband got to know, who has been very faithful. So he got to know, he got angry, and he was even trying to like reconcile and be at peace with the wife, though he still felt hurt because of the level of betrayal from the wife. So at a point where they were trying to resolve the issue, they lost their son. While they lost the son, the man became drained, and he felt very, very bad. Okay, let me give the picture of the full story now. The man is in the military, so he was posted to, is it Siberia, one of these warring countries as at then, and he was away for a period of about 2 years. So while he was away, the wife, according to her explanation, when she was explaining her reasons for going out of their matrimonial bed, she said she was lonely at the time. And then the father-in-law kept visiting to check on the woman, knowing that the son just got married to her before he was transferred to the warring country. So he came visiting, he keeps checking on her, and before you know, one thing led to another, they had intercourse. And the woman said she's in love with the father-in-law already because he's kind and all of that. But the father-in-law had to end the relationship, citing that it really got a bagel, citing that is on a very wrong ground, and definitely their son will soon be back, and it will not be of good image to see what is happening. So he ended the relationship, but unfortunately for him, that relationship had resulted in pregnancy. So this woman got pregnant, and for the whole period while she was pregnant, she hid it because the father-in-law had stopped coming because he had tried to sever himself from the lady so as to discontinue whatever that was going between them. So this lady too gave birth to this child, and then took the child to her elder sister. When she took this child to the elder sister, she begged and pleaded with the elder sister to take care of the child as her own, not letting her husband know what had transpired. So this elder sister in return was blackmailing her by making her fund her lifestyle, pay her bills and everything. So she wasn't working. She decided to stay at home, take care of the child, while the sister would be footing her bills, whatever expenses it is. So, but that child grew up to be wayward because obviously the parent wasn't involved in the life of the child. Please give me a second, please. I'm so sorry about that. Thank you, guys. I was perceiving the smell of my gas. I had to go and check if it's from my gas, but obviously it wasn't mine. So I had to be very conscious about that. So this child grew up to be very wayward, and all the while, when the man was back, he was thinking that this child is a nephew to the wife, not knowing that is the wife's own biological child. Until one of these days, in his criminal act, he was shot dead. While he was shot dead, um, I think that's where the whole news broke out. So this woman wailed and cried, and then she exposed herself that if only she had taken precautions and had been in the life of the child, because she had become so holy to the extent that she was more of an example for others. So the man was not like, I don't understand, what do you mean? So that was when the confession came in that the child is hers, because yes, I think the man was unwilling to pay for the funeral. I think that was when, yes, that was the stepson and stepbrother at the same time. Yes, so he was unwilling to pay for the funeral. I think that's when the woman exploded and then confessed her sin in the process. So even at this, the man was still willing to forgive only if the woman would mention who the father of the child is. But after a long period of back and forth, she confessed that, oh yes, I got pregnant by your father and it happened just once. And before you know it again, the son, one thing led to another, was also murdered by some gang of gangsters. So this really shattered the family and all of that. And the man seek for divorce, stating that he has nothing to hold on to again. And you know the next move this woman would do. She went on to invite the father-in-law to their matrimonial one and had sex there and then. And the man walked into there and stabbed the father to death. So in the process, this woman, yeah, very shocking, right? So in the process, this woman was angry that she would go to the police to bear it or let them know that the man has killed his own father. So friends who are aware of the situation try to talk her out of it, stating that she has been in the wrong and this man has been good, even tried to take her back, accept her back, but only did this out of best word, sorry. Okay, I tried to take her back regardless of her actions back then. So in the long run, this woman, after the back and forth, because of the whole process of the man trying to divorce her and all of that, this woman got angry, went and withdrew the man, all the man's funds, savings, everything he had, and withdrew it and started giving her the cash on the street. Oh, this is courtesy of my husband. This is courtesy of my husband. This is courtesy of my husband. So trying to render the man very broke, or how would I say, penniless. So this is a destructive act. Sorry for the long story. I'm just trying to cite one of the destructive acts, because for some people who think that being destructive is by maybe destroying properties in the home alone. There are certain things you will do that can destroy, even down to destroying one's image. We've seen cases where some persons destroy the image of their spouse to the extent that they are no longer workable. Like organizations will not want to work with such characters as a result of the level of allegations laid on them. Like we've seen people who lay false allegations such as RAPE and the likes. These are one of the reasons that can actually cause or result in separation and eventually divorce. We also have growing apart. And yeah, in growing apart, I stated it. I said it's differences in values, personality, and life goals. Yeah, I want to focus more on life goals because I've seen situations where a man might be interested in a lady, um, probably interested in her physical appearance and has seen her as approachable and goes on to meet her. And maybe in the long run, while talking and getting to know her, he finds out that their goals don't align. But because he likes this person physically, he's so much attracted to this person, he will start thinking in his heart that, oh, this is someone that if I pitch my goals, my aspirations to, they might buy into it, and who knows, they might have a change of heart and wanting to be what I want them to be. Not bearing in mind that it's not easy to make someone be who you want them to be. Rather, try to know who they really want to be for themselves, what they want for themselves. Why I'm saying this is that as a situation, there was a time my preacher was making an example and said that there is this man that married a lady because of her profession. The lady is a medical doctor practicing. So in the long run, they got married, bearing kids. So this woman decided that she no longer wants to practice. She wants to resign and become a stay-at-home mom so she can take proper care of her kids. And this escalated to something else. The man got upset and was like, the main or sole reason why he married her was because she's a medical practitioner and she is in practice, and so to say. So this was a very big issue. So our preacher then threw the question open and was like, in such situation, how do you handle it? So, in my opinion, I was saying that first off, you coming to meet someone, it's best you kind of discuss goals, life goals with them, aspirations. Try to know what they like to do, who they want to be. Some persons, for some women, so to say, let me use the genders now. Some women, they can be okay just being maybe a stay-at-home mom. Why some, they can be okay doing a specific kind of job, like they are not aspiring to expand or to grow, because for them they are okay at the level at which they are. Let's say for instance, somebody who marries someone who has gotten maybe a degree, a BSc degree, and you as the man, you are a scholar, you like to study. So because you like to study, before you know it, you are already urging your wife to further education by maybe pursuing a master's or a professional course. And probably this woman is not one who is into that. But because it's what you want, you start pushing your own goals, your own aspirations, your own ambitions to her. And this can really cause a lot of issues, because if that woman is someone who is okay with what they have at the time, it might be a problem, because it might seem as though you are pushing them off limits. You are pushing them off their boundaries, and this might tend to be very difficult for both parties. So I don't know if I got this goal, if I was able to explain this life goal clearly to you. Values, it has to do with values as well, and personalities. Yes, just I had mentioned, some people, they are scholars, they like to study, have more than 5 degrees, obtain certifications every now and then. Some people, they are business oriented, they don't just dwell on one business plan, they like expansion. Why some, maybe she's into clothing and she's okay with that. But you as the husband or you as the wife, you're saying that, oh, my husband, you also adding footwears to your clothing business will really be of a great expansion and all of that. And so the man, it might be like an extra burden or extra push for him is okay. So you, the wife, you will be feeling like, oh, this man doesn't listen, or he's not ambitious, he's okay with being at a particular sport, he doesn't want to expand and all of that, without getting to understand if there are people who really like to do business in expansion, or they are okay with their level at which they are and they are fine with that. This has really caused a lot of issues, actually. I've seen people who try to force their own ambition onto someone else, and this really caused a lot of difficulties in homes. And also, the issue of infidelity I specifically pinned this one down at the top, at the bottom of the note, because obviously we know that most of the separation and divorce cases we have as a result of infidelities. So I had infidelity and financial constraint at the bottom, because I don't want it to look as though it's all about money, money, money. Most of the time, everyone is talking about money, or everyone is more interested in finance. But obviously, we know that finance is part of the difficulties and one of the issues that leads to separation and eventually divorces in most homes these days. We know already what infidelity is. Even in the stories that I've cited, infidelity is one of the cause for it, why the man was actually pushing for divorce. And then financial constraint. So I will just put a bit about it. Last episode, while we're having a discussion, we were talking about empathy, right? And then we talked about some people marrying certain people, and you'll be surprised and wonder why they choose to be with such partners, regardless of what other people might think about them. And so many, we were talking about love not being enough, yes. And so many people were of the opinion that love cannot be enough as long as money is involved, or when money is not involved, that money is a significant hold on love in any relationship. Yes, we agree that money is very significant, but sometimes having to discuss your finances, having to talk about it, having to understand where you both stand when it comes to the financial aspects in that relationship, I think it's you've been able to conquer, when I say half of your problems in the relationship. So yes, finance is one of the reasons for separation and eventually divorces in most homes these days, and even back then. But obviously would not see them that much because of no devices to post them online, or people come having the boldness to come and share their experiences and the reasons why they are falling out of love or seeking for divorce at the time. So having said this, I want to move to our next point, and our next point is talking about how separation and divorce affects the family, most especially the children. I want to be specific about the children, because most times when couples decide to go on their separate ways, to separate from each other, or to divorce finally, the bulk of the effect is on the children, especially when the kids are still kids, when the children are still kids, most especially. If they are adult age, we can say, okay, it's manageable, but regardless, it still affects them. But at adult age, you may be able to understand one or two things and manage your emotions, manage your feelings at the time. But when it's kids, when it involves kids who could barely understand situation of life at the time, it really affects them the most. And we know that most divorces happen in this period of time when they are still young children then. So because that, I think that's one of the reasons why these days women are being accused of being impatient, because back then parents, they tried, you hear cases of the mother saying, oh, I'm staying back because of my children. Once my children have grown, I've heard cases where some women will be like, once my children are of age, they can understand and take care of themselves, I will leave you because of you're not responsible enough, or you're not good or fit to be a husband or a father to it. And you see men also saying that oh, when my kids are also of reasonable age where they can decipher wrong from right, I will leave you because you are not a good mother, or you're not fit to be a wife, and all of that. So I'm trying to make it vice versa, so you know that it's not just one gender that suffers when it comes to divorce cases. The children, it affects the children, and I've pointed out some of the ways that it affects the children. I'll open the floor also for us to our opinions if we have other ways that we know that it actually affects the children and the family as a whole. So in one of the reasons I pointed, I said separation and divorce affect children most especially because they tend to withdraw. These kids start to withdraw from maybe if they used to be very active and involved in so many activities and all of that, as a result of the shock from their parents separating. Because sometimes before this issues of separation or divorce take place, they start feeling the ripple effects in the family already. You start seeing the mother or the father displaying some kind of level of attitude, maybe being nonchalant or even abstinence, like abstaining from home, being away, being absent from the life of the kids and all of that. So this tends to make the children withdraw or have that withdrawal syndrome. Then you also have low self-esteem. They start feeling insecure. They start feeling insecure of themselves and of their family also. They start seeing their family being less compared to other family members, most especially maybe when they're in public. Though you don't know how other families are when they're in their closed doors. So when you see, maybe you go out for events and you see a situation whereby both parents are involved or they came out for that particular event and yours is just your mom or just your dad that is present because both of them at a loggerhead, they can be present in the same place. That child start feeling low self-esteem. They start feeling less of themselves, feeling like they are inadequate enough. And this is as a result of the expression or the ways the parent had actually shown themselves in the home. So I also pinpointed here anxiety, emotional distress, and this has to do with withdrawal and low self-esteem as well. They start having, if they're still very much of kids, a lot of tantrums and the rest. And I also noted transferred aggression. Yes, you see, when I mean transferred aggression, when these kids, or when they are not, let me not use the age range of kids, like children, when they are maybe teenagers or just becoming adults or they are now adults, they tend to have this transferred aggression as a result of what they've experienced back then as kids in their homes. So this behavioral pattern they tend to exhibit those traits or behaviors that their parents had once exhibited. It could be from the mother, it could be from the father. Some of those behavioral traits that dad are displayed, they start having it. And transferred aggression is angry, is almost always moody all the time, and it leads to relationship difficulties. When the child is of age of getting into a relationship, they find it difficult. And even when they are in the relationship, they find it difficult to express themselves, to enjoy the relationship, and be kind in the relationship because they've grew up in a very toxic environment. They grew up in an unbalanced, unstable home to the extent that they don't know what love or how stable a family should be. So because of this, they find it very difficult while in relationship or to be in relationship. So we also have social change. I said social change, yeah, they have low self-esteem, feeling insecure about their family structure. I had already stated that in my explanation earlier on. And I also mentioned that there is this long-term impact whereby there's this negative impact that it has on them that lingers on with them for a long time. For instance, being exposed to early sexual life. I don't know if you get what I'm saying or where I'm coming from. Kids who are from a separated home or who happen to experience their parents being divorced, they tend to be exposed to sexual activities early in their lives. Why do I state this? For instance, a situation where both parents are not living together because they are separated, there will be no much care. There will be no much care because either which of them the child is being kept under their responsibility, is busy trying to make ends meet to be able to take care of the child financially, forgetting that there are other moral disciplines that needs to be instilled on that child for them to become better adults. Let's say, for instance, if the child happens to grow with the father alone, there are some motherly discipline or motherly care that will be given, that ought to have been given to that child, but the child will not experience it because they happen to grow with just the father, and the father might be lacking in that aspect. And before you know it, he being the masculine, he trains up this child with a very stiff and disciplined method, forgetting that there are also subtle ways you can actually train up a child and they will end up being right or doing the right things. So with this the child, if they don't have somebody to talk to, maybe the softer person to talk to, they, before you know it, they'll fall out and start um, confiding in third parties. I don't want to use the word outsiders, so to say, but they start confiding in third parties, and before you know it, they start getting advices where they are not supposed to, and most times these advices are wrong advice. In a situation where both parents are separated, a child can actually deceive both of them. He can decide to say, "Oh, I'm going to stay with my mom for this period of time." And the father, who is not in a talking time with the mom, might not be able to reach out to the mom to confirm if the child is actually there, staying with her. Do you get? So the child can go elsewhere. He can be elsewhere doing certain things he's not supposed to do. Likewise, the mother, a child can say, "I'm going to be with my father within this period of time, or I'm going to spend holiday there." Because the mom is still at a loggerhead with the father, or not talking to the father, might decide to go elsewhere, and the mom will not be able to reach out to the father to confirm if that child is actually at the father's place. And before you know, the child is somewhere else, living the kind of life he feels is best to him, and this has a very long term impact on them. And so we have also one of the effects on children and homes, most especially, they have negative views about marriage or the opposite gender. When I say negative views about marriage, let's say, for instance, as a child, I grew up in a family that both parents are not together, they are separated or divorced. Maybe the process of divorce was very rough, very toxic. I will start seeing marriages in that light. Do you get? So because of that, I'll be feeling some type of way, and I'll be like, I don't think I ever want to get married because this is what marriage has done to my mother, or this is what marriage has done to my father. Marriage has caused them this and all of that. And as a result, I might even be seeing one of the party who I consider to be the bad person in the relationship as a bad person. And as a result, I'll be consider every gender to be the same, especially maybe if I've met up with one or two persons that share the same opinion or the same experience, and be like, "Oh, my mom was very toxic in my family, and as a result of that, my dad left." Because of that, they might start hating women. Or my dad was the toxic one. Because of that, I might start hating men. So I think this is one of the reasons why we have a lot of misogynists, the likes. You understand? I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. I don't want to say you understand because I don't know if you really get where I'm coming from. Like you have them having negative views of the opposite gender and also of marriage in general. So we also have exposure to substance abuse. I've mentioned that. Okay, and early sexual life. Before you know, if both parties are not in the life of the child to monitor and nurture this child the way he or she is supposed to grow up, they are exposed to third parties upbringing and all of that and advices, and before you know it, they might be seeking and getting advice from the wrong persons and be exposed to early dangers of life, such as early sexual life and substance abuse, as I mentioned. So then this so far is all I have to mention about the effects of separation and divorce in the lives of the family, most especially the kids. I don't know so far if there are any other ones I've not mentioned. Maybe I'm missing a part. You guys can actually indicate so you can respond to that. The floor is open. Before we move ahead to how to avoid divorce, I don't know if Sergio is still here. So he will come and know and understand how to avoid it. God, I beg you dropped. Sorry about that. I don't know if you're still here, God, I beg. Okay. So um if there is no one to if there is no any further opinion or addition to what I've just mentioned, we can just continue to how to avoid divorce and separation. Most especially if you have not been married, if you are not married yet, if you're still looking forward to marry. Welcome in firstborn, praise. So um, I will move on to how to avoid divorce and separation. So yeah, I mentioned that some of the reasons or some of the ways to avoid separation and divorce in marriages, especially if you're still very much single, looking into getting married someday. It's good to have an open mind. That's one of the reasons I stated here. Having an open mind towards situations and everything that has to do with your partner. I also mentioned forgiveness. So I would like to go with forgiveness first of all. And I will state my reason why I am going with forgiveness. If you're one who has never been married, and you're looking towards starting a family someday, I would want to advise and urge us to have a forgiving spirit, have a forgiving mind. Because if you don't know how to forgive, if you don't know how to let go of certain things, you'll be held bound. You'll be held down for a very long period because of there are situations that you will see and you ought to like let go and live happily and forget about it, but you'll be holding on to it, and as a result of that you are causing more damages, severe damages at that, to your own self, and eventually the destruction of your marriage. So if you're someone that you have this type that you say you're too tightened up, you're too stiffened at heart, and you don't know how to easily let go of certain things. I would say marriage is not yet for you, please. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for the cheering up and all. Thank you. So I would say marriage is not yet for you because marriage has to do with a lot of forgiving. You will continue to forgive as much as it requires for you to, because that's the only and one of the easiest way for you to have a happy home. Honestly, I know some people will ask like what can you forgive? Are there limitations to what you can forgive? Actually, well, when time for questions and other opinions are open to, we are open to share knowledge on that. So I've listed that one of the ways to avoid separation and divorce eventually in marriage is to have the spirit of forgiveness, to know how to forgive. I will also come from the part of their background as a child. Let's say you've been in a family where your both parents had always been at a loggerhead, toxic relationship. Maybe your father ends up beating your mom, or your mom is the one beating your dad, because we've seen situations whereby the women are the ones that have the struggle bones to be able to beat and knock off the man. So if you've been in that kind of situation, and you are holding a level of hatred towards one of your parents, if you have not been able to forgive them and let go, and try to understand that you are now a man or a woman of your own, and you should be able to take responsibility for yourself and decide how to live your life, not maybe in the path that your parents had lived their own life that you find not to be suitable for you. If you've not learned to forgive them, you're still holding on to that grudge. If you hate them so much, I'm so sorry, you might end up turning out to be like one of them that you hate so much. Honestly, some people will be like, I hate my father so much because of this, and you find out that they end up doing the same thing they hate their father for, or they hate their mom because of one thing, and they end up doing the same thing they hate their mom for, because you've hated them so much you could not forgive, and you're trying to say you don't want to be like them, but out of that hatred for them and your willingness to forgive and move on, you end up dragging yourself to fall short of the same mistake that they have fall short of and made you to turn out the way you are today. So forgiveness is very essential. It's very key, I must say, for one to have a very stable relationship and to avoid separation or divorce in their home. Then I have good communication skill. Yeah, good communication has come in again. I like it so much. I am one person that likes to air my feelings. I say sometimes people will tell me that I am too blunt. I say it as it is, yes, and I'm I'm kind of scared for it sometimes, because I feel like it has maybe bought me a lot of enemies, because you tend to tell them things the way it is. So, but being able to communicate, just as I've said earlier on, is different from being able to communicate in the polite way or in the best way. I might be somebody that knows how to talk, like maybe Angel had offended me and I just go straight to her and tell her, you offended me, you did this, all tightened up, like stating all the things she has done wrong. Yes, one way or the other it might be good. That's if Angel knows how to receive such manner of approach. I don't know if you are getting where I'm coming from. Please, if you want to tell me privately. You see exactly what where I'm going to now. Do you get? Now, I might be someone that will come out publicly and say it, and Angel is not someone that takes it publicly. She will feel offended that, oh, I had come to embarrass her, or I had come to call her out in front of everyone instead of going privately. Probably I don't know how to go privately, but now I want to advise us that when we are communicating, we should have the ability to correct our partners without the use of harsh words or blaming. There was one time when our preacher was teaching about how to be a responsible father or parent at home. And he made mention of the word, I've forgotten the English word he used in defining that term. It was like some people, before they start a statement, they want to address you. Before they address you, they've already made it seem as though you are dumb or you don't get to listen. So they'll use the word like, I know, say you know the year word, or you don't listen. Do you get? So you approaching someone, trying to talk to the person, and you're telling them, I know you don't listen. Somebody like me, honestly, when he said that, I was like, oh, this is me he's talking to. Somebody like me, if you come to me and you be like, I know you don't listen, or you will not listen. Honestly, whatever you have to say, I'm not going to listen again, because you've already said it that I won't listen. And truly, I will not listen. Whatever you have to say, you say and go. And even if I had listened and heard what you had said, I would not want to adhere to it, because I want to prove to you that yes, I am not listening. Do you get? And even if it's what I was supposed to do, I knew that I was going to do it, because you've told me and you've mentioned that you don't listen, or I know that you don't take corrections, I wouldn't want to do it the right way again, because you had labeled me, you've concluded about me. That's the word. You've concluded about me that whatever you're going to say now, I'm going to do the opposite. So definitely I will do the opposite to prove you right. So this is what I have to explain about communication. Like when you're communicating with your partner, do not use harsh words. Do not try to conclude on them already, stating words like you don't listen or you don't take corrections. So if you know they don't take correction, or you know they don't listen, why go talk to them? Or why try to talk to them? Or why try to correct them? Since you know they don't take corrections or listen anyways. So then also, I number 3 point here I had selfishness. Selfishness. As someone who is seeking to be married someday or who is already married, I would say living a life of selflessness to some extent is one of the bedrock to a successful marriage life. I know it's kind of difficult sometimes because we will say sometimes it's good to be selfish to a certain level because once you're selfless, people trample on your selflessness and all. I would want to give it to the men for this one. I want to give it to the men. Most men are very selfless to say, I would say that. To a certain level, yes, they are selfless because you will see a man who meets a woman who is probably managing. When I said the word managing, like trying to find her feet. Because I've seen men who marry women, train them up to school, do you get, or even set up a business for them. That's one act of selflessness and all of that. On the other hand, for though most women do this, but on the other hand, for it's difficult. It's right for you to see a woman who is willing to pick up. Yes, we can ask questions, Alice. I'm sorry. When I round off these points now, I'll open it up to the floor for all of us to ask questions. Welcome back, God, I beg. Sorry about that. So most men, they are willing to marry a woman even at the I'm sorry to use the word. I don't want to sound some way to a specific gender, but when they have nothing, when they can barely find their feet, I don't know if you get me. Some they marry them immediately off they are off school. After graduation, they marry them without them even trying to find their feet yet, knowing what they want to do after school and all of that. You see, marry them, start up a business for them, or even if they want to be a stay-at-home mom, you see them taking care of these women. So when it comes to selflessness, I will give it to the men on this one. Some men, most men, not all men. So I will advise that even as women, we should be selfless to our spouses, excuse me, to our family, because one who is selfish, who is self-centered, cannot make a good partner, to be very honest. Cannot make a good partner or a good home. That home is bound to break because if it's one partner that is always at the giving end and the other is always at the receiving end, definitely that relationship is bounded or doomed for destruction. So point number 4, I said ego. Ego, I will say it's some to an extent go hand in hand with selfishness. Someone who is egocentric, it's all about you. It's all about your pride. It's all about what people will think about you. You don't want to be seen less, or you don't want to be, yes, you don't want to be seen less, or you don't want to be seen as inadequate, not being enough. So as a result, or not knowing, like you don't want to be vulnerable. So because of that, your ego is always high up there. This is a very, very difficult situation for anyone who is in this stage of life, who hasn't learned to work on their ego. Yes, as human, most of us, we have ego in so many aspects in many areas of our life. So but if you don't know how to work on that, and you have so much big of an ego into a marriage or relationship, that relationship and marriage is bound for destruction. Honestly, it's bound for divorce eventually. So I also mentioned as point number 5, commitment. I said commitment. In my explanation here, in my explanation here, I was using a situation of you being in a relationship with someone. For instance, I have a man, or I am married to someone now. I married that person. I might not have married that person because of his physical appearance. Do you get? While walking, sorry, thank you. While walking on the streets, while walking on the streets, I might come across more handsome looking men, men who I feel are looking more handsome than my partner at the time. Do you get? But for me to be able to hold down my relationship is when I realize that I have someone I am committed to. Regardless if I'm being approached by someone who I feel is way handsome, taller, or even financially buoyant and otherwise than my current partner. That because of that commitment that I have, because of the fact that I am in a relationship with you, I will give you that respect. I will accord you that respect and know that there is no other person out there that should be better or should make me feel better than my partner who I am in a relationship with at the time. So this is what I have to say about commitment. If you have anything to add to it, when I open up, we can expatiate more on it. Then I talked about empathy as point number 6. I mentioned empathy. The last yes, that's the last podcast session. We discussed empathy. We talked about empathy. And to some extent, I know most of us will now understand how it feels. In a relationship, if you are married to someone and you cannot put yourself in that person's shoe, you cannot make yourself feel the way they feel at a specific time. You don't understand where they are coming from when they are trying to explain how they feel or say something to you, and you just can't explain or you just can't imagine or understand it. It's going to be very difficult because we need to be empathetic to one another as individuals, let alone you being in a partnership with someone. You need to be empathetic towards them. You need to put yourself in their shoes sometimes. You need to try to understand where they are coming from, why they act the way they act, what is the motive or what is the reason behind how they are feeling at the moment or how they are acting at the time. So point number 6 is empathy. I wouldn't want to dwell much on that because we spoke about it in the last class. Section, not class. So point number 7, I said we have to be fully independent as a man and a woman. I will state why I said this. At a point in life, before now, I wouldn't know whether to advise women, most especially about this, but left for me, if I'm to give anyone, if they are to ask me to give them a fair opinion, my opinion about marriage or what to do before going into marriage, I will advise as a woman or as a man that you have your own thing going for you. Be independent. Learn to try to understand taking up responsibilities. That's what I mean by independence. Like, you should know how to do certain things so that when you are now in a relationship, you will understand it when your partner is doing such thing. Let me take for instance, financially independent. Try. As a woman, as a man, you must have something of your own going for you. You must know how to pay bills. You must know how to be able to do one thing or the other. Like, if as a woman you've understand what it means to pay rentage, to pay utility bills, to pay maybe a school fees for a younger sibling or someone, to take up responsibilities, certain responsibilities at one point in time. When you're now in marriage, you will understand when your husband is taking on such responsibility and what it entails, what it takes for them to be able to do such. So as a result of that, you will not even want to overwhelm them with other responsibilities or make them feel like they are not doing enough because you already understand, you already feel. So likewise men, because these days and even in time past, though it wasn't accessible for us to see and understand them, but there have been men whose responsibility are being taken up by women. I've seen situations, I've heard situations where the women are the breadwinner. This is far back, way back when I was in school. I used to have a coursemate. So the coursemate at the time when we were having a discussion was not telling me about his upbringing and all. The mom, how much he respects the mom so much because of one particular reason. He said at the time, the father wasn't, I think, financially buoyant, or he lost his job. So the mom was the one taking up responsibilities of the home at the time, from a little bit. That call did not distract us. So the mom was the one taking responsibility of the family at the time. So if the children needed something from school, they needed to pay whatever bills and what's like, they'll go to the mom and be like, we need this, they ask us to pay this at school. The mom, who is the one funding 100% of the house runnings and all of that, welcoming shelter, would then refer the children back to their dad and be like, okay, go and tell your dad, if he gives it to me, I'll give it to you people. Making the children at the time feel like it was the dad that was taking up responsibility. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. So at this time, this woman was the one taking care of the home affairs and all of that, but was making the children feel like the father was in charge and was taking up responsibility. So this is because this woman has understand what it means to take up responsibilities, and maybe at some point in time the husband has been doing that, and understood what it is to cover up for each other. So I have on point number, is this point number 8 now or 9? Point number 8. So he said, I have a being decisive and direct. Yeah, so when you are in marriage as the head of the family, or even as the wife, mother in the family, there are certain times you have to take direct and decisive decisions. Excuse me, you need to be very decisive and direct. You need to know what you're doing, what you meant, and make your spouse understand and know that you meant what you are saying. So, or what you are talking about at the time. So this is that about it. And then I also have here as point number 9, accountability. Taking accountability for one's actions. Maybe certain times when it's time to make decisions, this has to do with being very decisive also. As a man, as the father of the house, maybe your wife is someone who leaves all decisions to be made by you, and if maybe you make decisions at a certain time and it doesn't go well, she ends up blaming you and saying that, oh, you made the decision. If you had not taken this decision, things wouldn't have been like this, or things wouldn't have gone this way and all of that. So as a result of that, as a man, you feel sometimes reluctant to wanting to take responsibility or taking decisions, because you don't want to be blamed, or you don't want to be accused of being the reason for not for the decision not working out as you have planned and all of that. So because of that, you try to shy away, and you want to make your wife feel like, I'm not taking any decision today, so tomorrow you don't come and blame me for whatever the results ends up being, or that. So this is it on accountability. I want us to understand that for you to have a very successful marriage and avoid the possibilities of separation and divorce, we have to be accountable. Most of us, we are not accountable. That's why we end up having such situations. Then I also have here as adaptation. I said we need to learn to adapt. When I mean adapt, I was explaining earlier on about some persons trying to push their own goals, their own ambitions on their partners, because that's what they want. In a situation whereby you happen to marry a partner who is not as ambitious as you are, who is someone that has to be like maybe pushed or suggested to before they get certain things done, it might be difficult for you to be able to navigate such. It might be difficult for you to be able to come to terms, to understand, and you'll be like, who is this person that I married? I never thought this person would ever be like this, or this was not what I envisioned for our relationship and all. But you need to learn to adapt and know that yes, at some point in time, certain things will not go the way you want it. It will not go as planned. It will not be as what you have envisioned it to be. So at that moment, that's when you learn to adapt and try to re-strategize to ensure that you don't come off as being very selfish, egocentric, or unappreciative at the time. So these are the points that I have listed so far. I don't know if we have any comments, questions, and suggestions, and whatever more we have to add to it. Alex dropped, he was asking if he could ask a question. Alex, if you're still here, please, yes, it's time to ask questions and answer. You can come up. So you can come up and ask your questions. Welcome in, Shato. Thank you so much, Angel. Thank you. See, with you on this, I'm not even noticing that you are in the box. It's when I see your comment, I'll now realize that you're here. Clara Pido, are you there? God a beg. Thank you, Shato. Welcome. Thank you very much. I don't know if you've been listening from the onset because you came in a bit late. I understand there's work coming and as well going today. Okay, so yes, so this is what I have to say for today. So Alex is not here now for him to go ahead with this question. But if we have other questions or comments, yes, Angel, thank you so much. Yes,
Yes, you can hear me, right?
clearly,
I want
loud
to
and
ask something about the adapting. Let
clear.
me give you a scenario.
Okay.
So, if you are a career lady and you end up marrying a businessman and he
Mm,
says you should leave your career, that he wants to start up a business for you,
okay.
who gets to adapt? Would the man adapt to you saying, no, I can't leave my business and my career. I want to stay, pursue my career.
Mhm.
I don't want to do business or I'm not business oriented. Or who adapts for who? Who's going to adapt? That's my
Okay.
question.
Okay. This question of yours now has to do from the stage where you get to talk, like talking stage. Except this is happening maybe in the marriage. You're already far gone in the marriage, or you're into the marriage before this discussion comes up. Otherwise, at the stage where you are talking, getting to know each other, and making plans of pushing the relationship to the next level. These are the discussions you ought to have. Are you someone who likes to pursue career? Are you someone who likes to climb up there in your career? Or you're someone who is business oriented and would rather settle to go into business, do your own thing, and possibly expand on it. So these are the discussions you ought to have. Like, if you remember, while talking about one of the reasons grants for separation, I spoke about personal values and goals, and it has to do with this. And I gave an example where a man married a lady because of her profession. Do you get? And in the long run, the lady feels that this profession is no longer affording me the time to be able to take care of my kids. So because of that, I want to resign. I want to stop practicing and take care of my children. But the man will not have it that way because he feels that he had married this lady because of her profession. I married you because you are of your kind of profession. I saw you as a career oriented person. So because of this reason is the reason why I'm marrying you. If they had had this conversation at the point of courtship, if he had opened up to the lady that, oh, I am very interested in you, I am attracted to you because you are a medical doctor or you are in this field of professionalism. This is the reason why I'm attracted to you. The lady already knows what the man is coming for or the reason why he's attracted to her. Do you get? So because of that, if it's something both of them can work together and see it to something that is possible for them to move to another level, then it is. But if it's not, right there and there, the lady will let him understand and know that, look, I'm in this profession because of one thing, maybe because of making ends meet and all of that. I want you to know that I will practice for a certain period of time, and at this period of time, I will go into retirement because I am a family-oriented person, and I will want to build a home where I'm in the life of my children 24/7. Do you get? If they have had this conversation, I don't think they would have had the issues they had in the marriage as of then. There was this movie I watched one time. It's a Nigerian movie. The man, he saw this lady. She was working and she has rose to the seat of a managing director in her organization there. So because of this, the man walked into a board meeting as at then and saw how this lady was presenting and how this lady was standing on 10 toes on certain discussions at the round table. So this had made this man felt so attracted. Do you get it? This attracted him so much that it was like, oh, I have to go for this lady. And he really went for her. And when he went for her, they got married. The lady also liked him because he's also doing well in his own field and career. They got married. When they got married, job came. They had to take the man from his recent residence to another location, which they both traveled on. Emphasis on shawarma. Where's the shawarma coming from? Welcome back, Alex. God, I beg. Okay, let me bring you up if I can. So, when they relocated, and they just got married. So this lady was finding it difficult to get a job because obviously our organization is not that well expanded to have branches in other parts of the country. So she just got married, they relocated, and the man was expecting her to start looking for a job almost immediately. But this lady was trying to settle him because she felt like she just got married. She should try to take in and start a family. So 1 month passed, this man was like, what have you been doing at home? Later, I'm at home welcoming you, my love, preparing for you, waiting for you. The man was like, you ought to be dusting your CV, updating your CV and be sending them out there for a new job. At first, it seemed like just a normal talk, and the lady was like, okay. Before you know it, 1 month passed, 2 months passed, and this man is angry that this lady is yet to get a job and she's lazing around at home. So this thing became a burden, a serious discussion. They had to involve counselors and their pastor. At a point, she decided to get a job, and then she realized she's pregnant. Being pregnant, this man insisted that she must get the job. So she got the job and she was working and she gave birth. She has given birth, she can't leave the child at home. The husband suggested they get a nanny, which they got. And before you know it, one day she was at work, she was called that the child had passed on. Do you get? So this lady cried, she felt bittered, she felt angered that, oh, this man made me lose my child because of his constant push for me to go get a job. So at one point in time, you might meet someone and their goals might be towards one direction. At that time, she might be a very career-oriented person. At one level in time in her life, she might decide that, oh, I'm tired of working. I want to build a home, or I want to be like this. Do you get? So people change, people personalities and lifestyle changes. This is the reason why you have to adapt, because when my views, when my likeness for a specific thing changes at that time, what do you do? If before now I am someone that is career oriented and I want to be climbing the ladder of the organization one step at a time, every now and then I'm building my CV and all of that. At a point I get tired and I'm be like, okay, no, I want to start a business of my own. Now I want to own my own business, or I want to focus on something else, or is a talent. I decide that, okay, I no longer want to work, I now love dancing and I want to focus more on dancing. That's a shift in my life at the time. And you, as my husband who had married me then, maybe you married me because of my level of focus and wanting to climb the ladder of the profession. So that time it will be a cause for serious issues if you don't know how to adapt, if you don't know how to get accustomed to changes and know that okay, this is the phase in her life where she no longer wants to be this but wants to be this way. So for you both, you need to adapt at the time. At the time, what was the discussion before talking or during your talking stage? Where what were the plans? What were the things you both decided on? Did you talk about your finances, career goals, or career pursuits? What family goals? How are you going to set up a family and all of that? What were the discussion you had during your talking stage? And if you did not have that in the talking stage and you eventually got married, you are now in the marriage, communication is key as I've mentioned. You both need to communicate it to each other. If you're someone that you know you're not good at, because it's not everyone that is good at business, or some people they've never tried business, but because they are doing so well in their profession, their career paths, they feel like they will not do well in business, so they are just stuck to that. So you can talk about it. You can let the person know that okay, I've never tried business. I don't know how well I'm going to fare in business. If you are open to new things, it's a good suggestion. If your husband is asking you to start up something, you can only let him know that I'm not going to forfeit this career just at a go. I can manage both. Let me see how well I will fare in business. If I don't fare well, I have to go back to my career and focus completely on it. But if I see that, oh, business is making a pathway for me and it's good for me, then why not? The end goal is to make money now, isn't it? This is my own opinion, actually. So, Angel, I don't know if I have answered your um, question correctly, please.
Yeah, you did. You said something that reminded me of the day we were talking about changes. When I told you, we all know that the most constant thing in life is change. And you remember the day I was telling you when it comes to women, the woman you married is different from the woman that gave birth for you or gave
Okay.
birth to a child for you because everything changes. So,
Hmm.
like you said, adaptation is key and communication because if you don't communicate, it's very bad. But one is anyway communication in general because there's no communication is not complete without the sender, the receiver, and the feedback. So
How well
the
you
sender may
communicate.
be communicating and pouring out all your emotions and this thing, and the receiver is hearing something else or not even following or not knowing the right thing to do or say. So it will still not work out. So yeah, it's true. Communication is really key. And then this thing about talking stage, I think that you should treat it one day because so many people don't know what they do these days in talking stage. Yes, we know that you may make plans as human beings, try and be organized and make plans for your life, and then life happens.
Yeah.
But at least make plans. So many people don't know what they do during the talking stage. That's why they end up in such issue later on. And you'll be wondering, didn't you guys discuss all this before, or you didn't talk about it? So
Yeah.
yes, you answered my question. Thank you, Inex. I think
Thank
that's
you
all I
so
have to
much.
say.
Thank you so much, Angel. Alex, welcome back. We're waiting on you to come ask a question. You indicated in the comment section that you have a question. So the floor is open and now is for questions, suggestions, and every other comment. So we'd like to hear your question or whatever comment it is you have to contribute. Hello, Alex.
You're supposed to know. Alex, where are you now?
I'm
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
I'm here. So, my observation basically is,
We can barely hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know if others can hear, but I can barely hear you.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. I want to ask this question, right?
Okay.
And you guys can be as honest as possible, right? In terms of, okay, let me just give my opinion first. Then I will ask the question, right? So, my opinion basically is this, right? People get divorced because of unmet expectations. The
Because of what?
expectation unmet expectations.
Unmet expectations, okay?
So the expectations you had before marriage, along the line you realize that okay, oh, no be so I imagine this is not
Hmm.
they look this is not they look somehow. Yeah,
Hmm.
somebody even told me this evening, so this topic is rather serendipitous for me. This evening somebody told me that after we're talking marriage actually.
Okay.
Person talk say after 1 week, all the love dey disappear oh. Forget all this marriage stuff, lovey dovey marriage stuff. So after 1 week, and everybody on the table agreed. So my question now is this, right? Is a bit more specific. So
Okay.
I'm not married yet, so I cannot give an opinion on that.
Okay.
But they all seem to be there seem to be a consensus,
Okay.
right? So it leads me to ask this question about love, right? It leads me to ask this question about love, especially from the part of women. As a man, I know that when you ask a man, does he love his wife? It's more about staying power, right? Being there for the woman, and everything. So that's when you ask a man about love, right? Sometimes it's not really about the lovey-dovey part. It's more like I'm gonna stay there for you. I'm gonna provide for you. I know say sometimes you hate the touch, but I there for you. That kind of thing, right? But from the women's side, I want to ask, right? Do women really, when it comes to love or the feeling of affection, which is much compared to stability and security and finance, which is more predominant in the mind of a woman? Is it the love, or is it the stability and security? Like if we're going to weigh the two for women, right? Which would be more which is more predominant when it comes to marriage and relationship for women? So I want to ask candidly to the two women on the panel.
Okay. If I'm to go first, what I was saying, when it comes to love, I feel it's vice versa. The same way a man feels when he's in love is the same way a woman feels when she's in love. Just like the sexual urge. The same way some men feel that they have high libido, the same way we have women with high libidos. Do you get? So when it comes to love in general, love encompasses a lot, which entails what you mentioned, the stability, the finance, the what was the other one you mentioned? Is it care or attention? So a woman can love a man who is not financially stable, so to say, depending on what you mean by financially stable at the time. Because when we talked about love is not enough, I don't know if you were on that podcast session, we mentioned it, and Therapy also mentioned that when we are talking about finance, we were not talking about zero finance because there's no one that can survive on zero finance. And I also mentioned that I have seen cases of men, if I am to judge financially, I will say that they are not even capable of taking care of themselves alone, let alone taking care of someone else. Do you get? Yet you will find a woman beside them who worships them, who adores them, who honors them. That is love. Do you get? They respect him, regardless of his financial status at the time. But you see, this woman worships the ground the man works on. That's love. Maybe there's a particular thing she has found so interesting, so intriguing about that man that makes her attached, so much attached to him that she has defined as her own love. So love to you can mean one thing, and to me it can mean another thing. I can love you because of what you are capable of offering me or so. That's a conditional love. But there are some people that just love you unconditionally. You see some people, they like some guys, they live reckless life, wayward life. And you still see some women attaching to them, and you'll be wondering, what did this lady see about this man that she's so much bent on ending her life on him? Do you get? So love cannot be phantomed. That's what I would say. Everyone has a reason why they love each person that they are attached to. A mother's love for a child is different. Likewise, a father's love for his child is also different. A sibling's love, do you get? And there are some people that will love their friends more than their siblings. And there are some people that will love their siblings more than their friend. The reason why they are loving that friend more than the sibling, it could be one thing or the other that they've seen in that friend, or they believe that that friend can do for them, which the sibling cannot do. So there's always a reason why you love someone, and it varies. For you, it might be stability. For Angel, it might be finance. For me, it might be your drive. I might fall in love with you because I see you as somebody who is passionate, goal driven. Do you get? And because of that, I'm invested in you. So love varies, and it depends on individuals, what you want and what you are going for. So when then going to the aspect where you talked about the love you have for the partner dies off after 1 week of marriage. I don't believe that, because I don't know if you've been in a relationship for a long time. You've seen people who date people for years, 10 years, you see them cutting. What makes you think they're still in that relationship for 10 years and all? You see some people, they've been married, and you see them waxing. When you see them like old couples, I know you must have seen, even if you've not seen close by, you've seen on videos. Couples, they will ask them, how old have you been married for? And they'll tell you they've been married for like 80 years, some 60 years, and you see them still very loving or playing. Like I feel the sole aim in every relationship should be genuine friendship. Go for who you really like, somebody that makes you feel happy, somebody that makes you feel comfortable whenever you hear about them, whenever you think about them, and whenever you are around them. With such people, you will not have any reason to want to fall out of love. You have friends, you have made friends that you genuinely like for years, and you've not found a reason to want to say that that friendship or that likeness is depreciating. So why do you think that the partner who you married on the ground of love will depreciate after 1 week? So that's a question you should ask yourself. Why do you think you will fall out of love with the person you married after 1 week of marriage? So is it that the relationship is bounded by the word marriage? Marriage, which we say we do, is a formality to legalize your union in the eyes of the public and the family. Do you get? But before you instituted that marriage, before you both decided to go before public to announce that you're getting married, you guys have been in relationship, you've been in friendship, and you like each other before you decide to do that. So what makes you think that everything about you will have to change because you are now married? Is the mindset. If you have that kind of mindset, it's very bad, because it's going to affect you to a certain level when you eventually get married. Don't see your partner less of being loved, or less of whatever you've been seeing them after marriage. The way you have been while in friendship, whatever you've been doing to keep that friendship, whatever you've been doing to hold them, to tie them down to want to be with you, continue that in your marriage, and you have no reason to want to fall out of love, or be scared that your partner will fall out of love with you. I think this is the problem. We feel like when we are married, or we are settled, so we have no reason to continue whatever we've been doing. That pursuit. Men used to pursue when they are trying to woo a lady, they'll pursue. You call today, maybe she doesn't pick the call. You're not hungry, you're calling in the next minute. And when she picks, you're trying to find out why she did not pick. But when in marriage, you call your wife one missed call, she doesn't answer, you left her for the whole day, waiting for her to return back the call when you get home to confirm. Why not call again to find out why she missed the call in the first place and all? But when you were in the relationship, you want to call 100 times until she pick and know why she missed your call, if she's okay and all of that. But after marriage, you no longer care if she's okay. While you were courting, during your work hours, you have the time, you can schedule a minute, 5 minutes to go talk to her and find out how her day is going. But now that you're married, you feel like, oh, she's at home, when I get home I'll see her at home, so you don't need to call her to know how her day is going. I think that is where we are getting it wrong. That is where the issue of love fades after marriage comes in. So this is all I have to say. I don't know if Angel or anyone else has something to say about that, and if probably
You said it all. That is just the truth. A guy has told me that before that when you are trying to catch a fish, you use bait. When you catch the fish, you don't catch them. There's no need for bait.
hmm,
That's the mentality.
yeah.
Alex, if those people that are telling you this is the reason why you have not married, Alex, run. Run from those people. But though, on a serious note, Alex, that's a big lie because just like Inex explained, you can't be in a relationship for years and then when they now call it marriage or crown it marriage, 1 week it don't fit. It doesn't make sense.
Why?
It never makes sense. I think so.
Sorry, sorry,
Alex,
sorry,
You
sorry,
don't break
sorry.
your heart.
go and marry. Go and marry so that the woman will handle the pot well. See pot cover that is falling off. Eh?
It's true
Now,
that
now why they ask a question now? What do you think I did do?
Oh no,
beg,
no
don't
fear, no
marry, I
fear.
beg. No
Women are
fear.
very sweet being. No fear.
Just
Okay?
just make sure that it's not all women, no, no mind no. Just make sure that you marry marry your own. Don't go marry the one way
Women are
when
sweet
you
being.
drop that
Mind
pot.
me. Women are sweet
When
being.
that one, when the pot cover fall, she go use and break your head. Say why you throw away pot cover.
God forbid. I reject that for you, please.
I reject that for you. So marry your own, or I beg. Marry strong. Oh. Person later you say in 1 week the marriage, the love is over. Do you know what forever is? Forever is not tomorrow or in 1 year. Oh. Forever far. Oh, for somebody to tell you 1 week the love is over. How will you cope with the forever? I beg
So
go.
this, so
People
this,
that
this is
are
where
running.
this is where I think I'm coming from. So you guys can tell me if I'm wrong.
Okay?
In the build up to marriage, right? There's this your everybody's lovey dovey, right?
Yeah.
Then everybody's lovey dovey. There's this build up. There's this expectation. Oh, I'm gonna get married to this lovely queen, my sweetheart, my angel, my everything. That kind of thing. There's this build up. But when then suddenly, maybe Angel can answer this preferably because she's married. I don't know how her experience was.
Okay.
So then afterwards, then reality starts to dawn in like, wow. So I'm gonna stay with this guy for the rest of my life. Wow, my life has changed. Everything is different. Now I'm gonna start having kids. Then again, then you have to consider. Somebody also gave the opinion that everything changes after the first child. I didn't just hear this today. So I want to know what, maybe especially for me, Joe, what are the angles? Like, is there a different kind of reality, right? To be honest, just be frank with me. Is there a different kind of reality after
That's
that first
still
night?
after marriage.
Yes. Is there a different kind of reality? Is there, or do things continue as how? What was your experience like?
See,
So,
Alex.
Angel, sorry,
The
before you
only
go, can I say one thing? Sorry, Angel.
okay.
Me coming from the point of your marriage aspects. Before you go into marriage, I've already had this mindset. This is me personally. When you're dating someone, to the extent that you're dating to marry the person, you already know that it's forever to go. If you already have that mindset that you're going to be with this person for a long time, or you have it in your mind that this is not a contract that will end after a period of time. There is no end. The only end is when one person is unalive. When one person goes before the other, that's the only end to that union. So if you have that mindset, I don't think this fear of there will be a change when you go into it, I don't think it will come because you already have that mindset. You already know that you're going into this for a lifetime. So you're prepared. Let's say now when you want to pick up the military form, there is a clause you need to, there is this um, indemnity form you need to fill that state that during the course of your training and all of that, if you are unalive, they are not like, the country is not liable, the government is not liable to it. Do you get? There is a clause like that. So you that goes ahead to pick up that form and you fill that indemnity form and agrees to it, you already know what you're going in. So you're prepared, your mind will be prepared ahead of it that this situation I'm going into, it's either it's going to take me or I will survive it. So you already know. So when you're going into it, you have your mind prepared that I am not going into this journey for 2 or 3 weeks or 5 to 10 years. It's not a contract, except for the cases whereby it's contracted. Yours, if you know you are not contracting this, it's not a contract, is you're going into this, have it in your mind that I'm not going into this for a period of time. So because of that, that fear of, oh, it will fade, that will be removed. Okay, Clara Rapido, but Angel, please will go first. Angel, please go on. Sorry I took your time. Angel, sorry, my love. You can go on. Oh,
It's almost 9.
oh, I'm sorry, there. I was not even paying attention. Okay, let's quickly wrap it up. Yeah.
Yes. So, Alex, what were you saying again? Okay, honest truth is the mindset. Okay, if you make, just like Inex said, if you make up your mind that this is what you want to do. Okay, let me use myself as example. Before making that decision, I made up my mind that whoever is going to be forever. I was not looking at what if.
Yeah.
It was a decision I took, and nobody helped me take that decision. Not my parents, not my siblings. It was a decision I took, and that is why it was my choice. Okay, so when you make that decision, you should be prepared for everything that comes with it. And besides, life normally brings changes. There will always be changes. The joy of everything is when you are with the person you chose. You will be facing the changes and the challenges together. That's the joy in it. But if is not the person decides to change, there must be a reason for the change. Is now, hey, my network has started. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. No, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, okay. If the person decides to change, there must be a reason for the change. So it's now left for you to find out what caused the change. But apart from that, as long as two of you see what for me, or my personal opinion, if two of you are committed to making it work, it involves two people. It's not left for the woman. All this issue of the woman is to handle the home, the woman is homemaker, the woman is homebreaker. If two of you don't work together, it won't work. It's meant for the two. So if the woman is putting in her own effort, you should be putting in your own effort. As long as the commitment, two of you are committed to make it work, it will work, regardless of every other thing happening around you guys. That's just my own contribution. So, Alex, when you say first time, when you say first time, when I gave birth, okay, my first child, yeah, there were changes, physical changes as a lady, you know, financial changes because there's now someone else you need to cater for and all. But because it was a joint agreement between the two, we were working towards it, we were planning it, we were prepared for it. Well, not totally prepared, but at least we were working towards it. That's just the main thing. So if you
Thank
just have that mindset, that's just it. Oh yeah, bye bye. It's 9:02. Bye bye. I'm going on.
you. Thank you so much, Angel. Claire, can we get hear from you? Thank you so much, Angel, for your opinion. That was really amazing. Thank you. Claire, you said you wanted to, yeah.
Yes, good evening. I said I wanted to add a little contribution.
Yeah.
The
Please go.
contribution I wanted to add, yeah, uh, particularly in the aspect of what Alice said, making reference to what somebody said that when a woman gives birth, everything changes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I usually advise that when people make statements, it's actually good we ask them, why did you say this thing? Because if you actually ask questions to the very last word the person said, it gives rooms for people to actually tell the truth. It actually reduces people lying. They just make statements without actually telling us the reason why they are saying that. Because
Exactly.
if you say everything changes when a woman gives birth, as a matter of fact, everything changes every minute that we wake up. Nothing will ever stay the same. The day you entered primary school, everything changes. You enter secondary school, everything changes. You go into university, your mentality will change. In fact, the first time you're going to leave your state to another state, everything is going to change. So
Exactly.
every minute, as we are experiencing new things, everything will keep changing. But the most important thing is the person's character. If the character you fell in love with or the character you got married to remains the same, you don't have any issue. Things will always change. It depends on what exactly attracted you to that person. Was it the physique? Was it outward things or inward things? Because outward things will easily change. But if that inner person is still there, you don't have any issue. Then let me just quickly also add as to one of the reasons why most persons actually try to go for either divorce or a separation in the aspect of finance. Sometimes when we say finance, the first thing that comes to our mind is lack of it. As a matter of fact, most couples don't actually get divorced as a result of lack of money. It's actually either spending priorities, overspending. This person wants to spend money on this, another person is spending money on that. So let me just leave it at that. I know that time has really gone, but when it comes to that finance, it is not lack of money. It's that even the little money that's available, because each family will always have an income. At least something will always come. But it depends on how one wants to spend that money. All right, thank you very much. I said I will make a small contribution. Let me keep it
Thank
small.
you, thank you, thank you, and that was worth it. Thank you so much, Clever Pedro, for that contribution. So, Alex, with these many contributions, I don't know if your questions have been answered. Welcoming Jamaican Beauty, welcoming Mr. Henry Sweets. Yeah, it's 9 p.m. We can call it a wrap. And as I've mentioned, this will be the last episode for the season until we meet in the next calendar year, come 2026, God sparing our lives. By then, hopefully, we will come out bigger, better, stronger, with more exciting topics to talk about that affects us daily as well. So with this, I say a very big thank you to every one of you that have been able to participate on today's edition. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Clara Pido, Angel, Godabeg, Alex, shout out. Thank you. Even with your busy schedule, you're here. Thank you regardless. With Valley and everyone that actually come to support. So Shato said, yeah. Yes, next week I'll be traveling, so I won't be able to come on live. And the week that follows you it is Christmas, as you know. So I want to give everyone the opportunity to spend their time with their family members as they would. I don't want to steal out of your time and for the sharing with your family members. And the preceding week you get to know is the first day of the year 2026. So I want you all to also use that to do your Thanksgiving with your family, spend it with your family, and whatever activities you have scheduled for that day. So after which we'll meet again to continue. So for this season and for this year, this is the last episode. Shato. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you all. Thank you everyone for your amazing gift and your time, most especially for coming in to listen to me yap, 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 yap every now and then. I'm very much grateful. Thank you. And with that, I say goodbye and see you all 2026. Well, every now and then we'll be catching up on Angels Live and any other box we get to meet the live stream. So, but for now, it's bye bye and see you all in 2026. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you so much.